remaining 80% of video. Subscribe to our Prelims Plus Mains videos complete package. 1. Russia to deploy missiles in Syria. This topic will be important under General Studies Paper 2. International Relations, India beyond its neighbors. Why recently in news? Vladimir Putin on Wednesday ordered state-of-the-art air defense missile systems to be deployed at a Russian air base in Syria, following the downing of a Russian warplane by Turkey. A move that raised the threat of a military confrontation between the NATO member and Russia. Located just about 50 kilometers south of the border with Turkey, S-400 missile systems are capable of targeting Turkish jets with deadly precision. If Russia shot down a Turkish plane, NATO would be required to intervene. What happened earlier? Both Russia and Turkey say the Russian Su-24, an all-weather attack aircraft, was shot down by Turkish F-16s in the Turkey-Syria border area on the 24th of November. Russian President Vladimir Putin said the plane, which had 2 crew members, was flying at an altitude of 6,000 meters, 19,685 feet, when it was hit by an air-to-air missile. The plane crashed in the mountainous Jebel Turkmen area of the Syrian province of Latakia, which is contested by Syrian government and rebel forces. Why was the Russian jet there? Russia is one of several countries directly involved in the conflict in Syria, which has left more than 250,000 people dead since March 2011. Moscow is an ally of President Assad and is conducting airstrikes to prop up his government. It says it is targeting only terrorists, above all jihadist militants from Islamic State, IS, but its strikes have mainly hit Western-backed rebels. Syrian rebels have meanwhile received substantial support from Turkey, an opponent of Mr. Assad. Ankara also allows the US-led multinational coalition against IS to use its air bases to conduct strikes on the group in Syria. Is NATO backing Turkey? NATO said it was in close contact with Turkey after the Russian jet was downed. The last time a NATO state shot down a Russian or Soviet plane was in the 1950s. After an extraordinary meeting of the alliance's main decision-making body, the North Atlantic Council, Secretary General declared, "We stand in solidarity with Turkey and support the territorial integrity of our NATO ally." About NATO. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is an intergovernmental military alliance based on the North Atlantic Treaty, which was signed on the 4th of April 1949. Formed in 1949 to counter the threat of post-war communist expansion as the Soviet Union sought to extend its influence in Europe, NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, is the world's most powerful regional defense alliance. It has traditionally stated its general aim as being to safeguard the freedom, common heritage and civilization of its members by promoting stability and well-being in the North Atlantic area. Members agree that an armed attack against one shall be considered an attack against them all, and that they will come to the aid of one another. In 1955, the Soviet Union created a counter-alliance called the Warsaw Pact, which dissolved after the breakup of the USSR in 1991. The Czech Republic, Hungary and Poland became the first former Warsaw Pact countries to gain NATO membership in 1999. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 and subsequent demise of the Warsaw Pact, therefore, left NATO with no obvious purpose. Since then, NATO has used its defensive role to justify a more proactive approach to out-of-area activities, arguing that instability in any part of Europe would constitute a threat to its members. In 2003, NATO took its operations outside Europe for the first time, when it assumed strategic command of the UN-mandated peacekeeping force in, and immediately around the Afghan capital, Kabul. 2. Nuclear-capable Dhanush missile successfully test-fired from warship Subhadra. This topic will be important under General Studies Paper 3. Science and Technology, Defense, Internal Security. Why recently in news? The nuclear-capable Dhanush ballistic missile was successfully test-fired from warship Subhadra, off the Puri coast of Odisha in the Bay of Bengal. The test was conducted by Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, and it was a perfect mission as the missile hit the target point with high degree of accuracy. Features and capabilities of Dhanush missile. One of the 5 missiles indigenously developed by the DRDO under its Strategic Integrated Guided Missile Development Program, IGMP. The surface-to-surface missile is a naval variant of Prithvi-2 missile and can carry both conventional as well as a nuclear payload of 500 kilograms. The Dhanush missile can be used as an anti-ship weapon as well as for destroying land targets depending on the range. With a strike range of 350 kilometers, missile gives the Indian Navy capability to strike enemy targets with great precision. What are ballistic missiles? Ballistic missiles, unmanned missile, follow an arc-like trajectory and are launched from the land or sea. They usually carry a nuclear warhead and are very heavy. After launch, a ballistic missile arches up from one point and lands at another point. All rockets, from fireworks to massive space launchers, carry both fuel and some form of oxygen. Because they do not burn oxygen from the air, ballistic missiles can fly beyond Earth's atmosphere. A missile is called ballistic because, just as one would throw a ball or spear, the rocket's engine gives the missile an initial push, after which its flight is affected only by gravity. Ballistic missiles do not fly. They go up, and they come down. A ballistic missile is a tube from approximately 30 to over 100 feet tall, almost completely filled with either liquid or solid fuel. Liquid fuel is typically some distillate rich in carbon and hydrogen. Solid fuel consists of some powdered metals such as zinc or magnesium, combined with a solid source of oxygen, and something that binds the mixture and regulates the burn.